This is the CEO of Wigan Council talking.
But I mean, that's what's wonderful about Wigan as well, isn't it? I mean, 70% of the places are green spaces. The biodiversity and the nature here is unbelievable.
I've started looking into everyone who was part of this decision. This is the planning committee who approved the warehouses, and these are some other people who we'll get into in due course. Apart from the glaringly obvious, I noticed something about them. They look like a game of Guess Who, which gave me an idea for a game, and a t-shirt. Of course, English is my first language, so don't read too much into the word corrupt here. It's just a game. It's just satire. It's just an 18.3 meter high game of satire. If I sell any of these t-shirts, 50% of the profits will be donated directly to the legal fund of the Action Group. As I continue playing the game, I've also made some little props that might come in handy, like this little envelope. Obviously, since English is my first language, don't read too much into the colour of the envelope. Plus, brown's the only felt tip colour that I have anyway. It should also be noted that if anyone would like to be removed from my board, which is just an innocent game, and actually brings some great infrastructure to my table, please feel free to send in your objections. I've of course taken out an ad in a paper somewhere in the world, and not local to you, but probably local to someone. All the details you need are in that ad. Today we're going to be looking at Alison Mackenzie Folan, the CEO of Wigan Council. Here are some things she was saying on a podcast recently.
What do you do to switch off?
Got 2 dogs, tend to walk those. I love to get into nature, particularly with the dogs, although occasionally they do bark, so they destroy a bit of peace and quiet. But I mean, that's what's wonderful about Wigan as well, isn't it? I mean, 70% of the places are green spaces. The biodiversity and the nature here is unbelievable. So yeah, get out in green spaces, walk the dogs.
They were walking their dogs. This is all footage sent to me by the Astley Warehouse Action Group.
The biodiversity and the nature here is unbelievable. Get out in green spaces.
Walk the dogs. The biodiversity and the nature here is unbelievable.
If that's the case, why wasn't an environmental impact assessment done? Because they decided they didn't need one, and instead relied solely on this ecological assessment, which I just read. It mentions a number of red and amber listed birds on the site. Red list species are the most in danger and most in need of conservation. They destroyed their homes, by the way. The hedgerows on site were considered priority habitat, and the grassland was considered the best ecological resource. By the way, the national planning policy makes it clear that local plans should promote the preservation of priority habitat. On their first visit, they saw 3 priority bird species, with one being the red-listed house sparrow, which they saw 11 of. On the second visit, they noticed more red-listed birds foraging within the grassland on the site. They said all habitats across the site provided an important contribution towards local biodiversity in the area. It said hedgerow and grassland should be retained where possible. So they tore it all down, of course, with PLP only having to do the last resort option of paying $200k towards biodiversity in a Section 106 agreement. And where did that money get spent? An hour's walk away. And why didn't they do it closer to home? Because they said they couldn't find a suitable site. Why? Because they obviously just destroyed the only one in the area.
Certainly within Wigan, our experience is that communities know what's best for them, not necessarily the council, so let them lead with some of the solutions.
I'm not flipping you down just yet, Mrs. CEO, sir.